One and all, respected Swamini Vimalananda ji, deans, directors, head of the departments, faculty members, and students. Welcome to this webinar on mind management. So let me introduce Vimalananda ji. So Swamini Vimalananda ji is a brilliant disciple of Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda ji. Swamiji had her early education at Mumbai and graduated with honors from the J.J. College of Architecture with a BArch degree in 1981. She has traveled widely and has conducted many spiritual discourses and talks in English, Hindi, and Gujarati, and camps for children, youth, and elders all over the world. Her simple style of talking has captivated the intellectual and faithful alike. The Chinmaya education movement is one of Chinmaya Mission's most valuable contributions to the society. From its humble beginnings in 1965 at a nursery school in Kalangod, Kerala, the movement today encompasses over 100 Chinmaya Vidyalayas, Chinmaya colleges, and Chinmaya International Residential School and a university. To concretize Swami Chinmayananda's vision of education, Swamini Vimalananda conceived the unique and visionary educational program, Chinmaya Vision Program, popularly referred to as CVP. She has conducted many workshops and has introduced the program in over 2,500 schools and colleges in India. She is also actively involved in the implementation of the program in all the Chinmaya educational institutions. She was the chief editor of a biannual newsletter, Chinmaya Drishti, which guides education institutions, shares the best practices, and gives tips for the implementation of the Chinmaya Vision Program. She was the visionary behind all activities of the educational cell of the Central Chinmaya Mission Trust, which governs all the Chinmaya Vidyalayas and colleges in and out of the country. She was one of the chief organizer, trainer, and faculty member of all the education programs initiated by the education cell. She has given talks in over 2,500 schools, colleges, besides Chinmaya institutions on various educational, spiritual, cultural, and socially relevant topics. She has also given talks on various management topics to corporate bodies and management institutions and in management seminars. Her annual talks at the Ahmedabad Management Association are the talk of the town. She has authored many books, including the bestseller and popular book in Indian culture, Why We Do, Conflicts and Confusions in Indian Culture, Meditation Techniques, 15 Portals to the Supreme, and Facing Fear. Her recent book, Leap, Life Empowerment and Enrichment Program, appeals to the young and old minds alike through its deep yet trendy content and presentation. She was awarded by the Architects Association of India in the year 1999 as an architect for achieving success in another field. The award was for her contribution to the field of education. She has attended and addresses various international conferences. She was the keynote speaker at International Baccalaureate Conference in Hanoi, Vietnam in October 2006 on the topic of values and internationalism. She was instrumental in founding the prestigious Chinmaya International Residential School and served as its director in charge till 2005. She was also the chairman of the 3 Chinmaya Vidyalayas in Coimbatore, the Acharya in charge of Chinmaya Mission Coimbatore for 25 years. So now I request ma'am to start lecture.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwarah, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om and Namaskar to one and all. Today, the topic that I'm going to speak on is mind management. This is a very, very important topic as it relates to everyone's life. And by everyone, I mean everyone who is attending the session and who is not attending the session. Who is attentive, who is not attentive. Whose mind is involved in what I'm talking or is not involved in what I'm talking. Because every possible experience of your life, in fact, you can say your entire life itself, is experienced in your mind. And therefore, when we are talking about mind management, it also means life management, because there can be no experience at all except as thoughts in your mind. Prove the existence of anything, anywhere, at any time, except as a thought in your mind. You will not be able to prove. Even if you say it existed before I was born, that also you are experiencing now as a thought in your mind. So the entire past, your past, the world's past, the whole universe's past, your present, the whole world's present, the whole universe's present, your future, the world's future, the whole universe's future is experienced by you in your mind. And therefore, this most wonderful, phenomenal, amazing instrument called the mind is something we should all know about, understand, and learn to manage. Interestingly, something which we know the most intimate, the closest, and we know it all the time, is our own mind. And yet we know nothing about it. Strange enough. So what is the mind? How will I ever manage something I don't know anything much about? So first I must know what this mind is. So in simple language, mind is nothing but a flow of thoughts. Thank God it is a flow of thought. It is not a puddle or a lake. Why? Because it constantly moves. And luckily, our thoughts happen one at a time. At least we experience them one at a time. If we did not, my God, it would be a disaster. Many times people say, no, I have so many thoughts at the same time. No, it's not so many thoughts at the same time. It's the thoughts are so fast that you think they're all at the same time. But they're actually one at a time. When the flow is so fast, you think everything is happening together, but it's not happening together. Thank God, luckily it happens one at a time. And as I said, the best part of it is a river. No, it's a river. The water comes and the water goes. That's the best part of it. See, in a river, the water comes and goes. It goes, it goes. The same water doesn't come back again. It's gone forever. Similarly, In our mind also, the thoughts flow. Thank God. Because it's gone. We can bring it back again. That's a different thing. But the fact is, this thought, as you are thinking right now, has gone the next second. It's not there. So, you had a thought, you are having a thought, you will have the next thought even as I speak. You're not stuck on the thought before. That thought is gone. It's only a memory. The future thought has not yet come. It's only an imagination. So we think in the present. Interestingly, these thoughts, they are so subtle. They're so, it's like, I always talk of thoughts as a dot of thought. Why do I say dot of thought? Because this thought is something which is, it's just like a one dot. It has no dimensions. It has no, it's not length and breadth and height, even though within this one thought, you can imagine the biggest of things. It doesn't matter what size it is. The object of your thought can be a humongous, a huge thing. But the thought by itself is just one flash, one little thing, and it's so to speak, no dimension. Because the time required for it is also what? A fraction of a second. It's not 1 second also. It's a fraction of a second. So in that one fraction, you are experiencing something. And the only reason why you think that I continuously keep thinking is because the number of thoughts are so many that you think you're continuously thinking. But actually, it's just one. For example, exactly as you have a film, a continuous movie. It's a movie is not a continuous frame of pictures, but it's a one by one, the pictures are going at such a fast speed, more than 16 per second, the rate of that. This is so far that you think it's continuously. Similarly, right now you are listening to me. You think I'm continuously talking and you are continuously listening. But that is not so. Your ears and your mind is catching it one sound at a time, one sound at a time. But it's happening so fast. You're only catching sounds. You are not even catching words. Leave alone sentences and leave alone the meaning of the sentences. But your mind is such a tremendous instrument that even as I'm speaking, the sounds are just going in. You are understanding it as words, as sentences, and you're making sense of it. And that is why you are nodding your head. The fact that you nod your head means everything that I spoke happened within you. How tremendous is this mind? How wonderful is this mind that even in the dullest of people, even in the most lethargic of a person, this is what is happening. This tremendous force, this tremendous ability, what we call the mind, is understanding. And remember, it's not only catching the words, it's also seeing objects. It doesn't only see it sees so many things. Right now, you're not only seeing the speaker, the gestures that the speaker is doing, the background that is there in the speaker. You are catching nuances of the body language of the speaker besides just the sound. And not only what you are seeing, if you are very attentive, only the speaker, but if you are otherwise, you in your own place, wherever you are, so many other sounds or so many other maybe there is a coffee brewing in your kitchen. So you're getting the smell of that also, even as you're listening and wishing that I had a cup of coffee in my hand when I'm listening to this talk. So all this is happening. Look at this amazing instrument, what we call the mind. And remember, this is your mind. This amazing thing that we are talking about is not something else, someone else, it's your mind. This ability of the mind, this thinking power, is something we should all understand. And then, so many of our thoughts that we have are conscious because of what is happening, like you're listening, etc. But so many of your thoughts are not even like that. They are subconscious thoughts. They are in the form of memories. They are in the thought, in the form of desires. They are in the form of imaginations. They are conceptualizations, innovations, and observations, and unbelievable. All this is there with you. And each of this thought is being owned by you. You say, I think, I understand, I see, I hear, I hope, I wish, I. So there is this I, which is there in and through every thought. This is the thought we call the thought of the ahamkara, or the ego, the one that owns every thought. I is there behind every thought. Just imagine, this is happening right now as you are listening. I hope it's happening. And if it is happening to you, please nod your head so I know it's happening. Now, since we are in this present day and age, we have to understand the mind in a little different way in this present context, because all of you are all, professionals, or wanting to become professionals, or, teachers, and all different, this. See, this mind is something which is linked to every one of us. Is part of everyone's life, as I said. It's now, let's first understand the difference between the mind and the brain. Very often it's not understood. What is the mind? What is the brain? See, the brain is a gross instrument that you have in your head. It can be seen, it can be dissected, it can be opened up, it can be, you can put electrical currents to it. So many things can happen. All the experiments that are done in the laboratory are always of the brain, never from the mind. Right? So a brain can actually be seen. Even though it's nicely packed up inside this, this face and all that, but it's actually, you can open it up. You can see it. It can be x-rayed. You can have an MRI done. All sorts of things. However, the mind cannot be seen. Cannot be heard, cannot be anything. You cannot do anything with the mind, with your physical instruments. It's not possible. So what is the mind? Let's take an analogy and try to understand. That's a radio, a gross instrument, and you have radio waves, right? Sounds coming out. First, so you have the waves come, and the instrument is a medium by which those waves are brought out and manifested as sounds. Okay. So if the instrument is not good, then you won't get good sounds. However, if the station that is conveying these sounds, these radio waves, and making them into sounds, if that place is not good, then also there'll be a problem. The radio waves are not conveyed properly. The production itself, from where it's coming also is some faulty, then you're not going to, definitely your radio is not going to be bringing out good sounds, right? Similarly, the brain is like the radio, and what is inside us is brought out. Our vasanas, our unconscious, so to speak, mind is brought out as thoughts by the instrument called brain. So do you need a brain? Yes. Only with the brain there can be thoughts. Without brain, no thoughts. Okay? If you don't have a brain, you have no thoughts. Full stop. But Is the brain producing thoughts? No, it is manifesting. It's an instrument which is manifesting thoughts. Just as we need a radio for bringing out the radio waves as sounds, the brain is the instrument which is bringing out thoughts, manifesting thoughts. So if the brain damage is there, thoughts will be problematic, will have their own this. However, if the brain may be fine, but the matter inside is not that good, then we'll not bring out very good thoughts. Full stop. Brain can be fantastic. Everything is perfect, all right, you know. There's no chemical locha, as they say in Hindi, with the brain. There's no such thing. And yet you can have terrible thoughts. You can horrible this. This is possible. So therefore, you have the brain and then you have thoughts. So thoughts cannot be seen. But each one of us experiences thoughts. There is no, as I said, all experiences are in the thoughts. Every thought is just one experience. It's like a building block of your life. For example, if you're knocked out, you become unconscious. At that time, you don't experience life. You don't experience anything. In your deep sleep every day at night, you don't experience anything. You're knocked out, so to speak. And therefore, there's no experience. Right? Now, in the present context, in this times of ours, how do we understand the brain? I tell you, this is, see, every innovation, every discovery, everything that you see around is only man-made. And when we say man-made, it's the mind of the human being that's made everything. It has sent things to the Mars. It has made reusable rockets. You name it, all the technology, including the technology which is enabling us to have this webinar. It's all the creation of the human mind, this tremendous thing called a human mind. Now, if you have understood this, see, nowadays everyone's got mobiles and, and because this seems to be, because of the pandemic, this seems to be the only way of communicating with all of us. So all of us have, very good net connection. That is what everyone has spent money on, good net connection, right? And we all want, we've spent little money and we want large gigabytes, right? So anything that gives you, free calls, free use, free everything, we love that, isn't it? Most of you have, you pay 300 rupees and you'll get 24 hours, this large, and we all, you understand this language more than I do understand. So we all have that. And we don't want it to be, in the middle of a session, something will get over money gets over or whatever, we don't want that. We want it to be such that whole night, if we binge also, we've got still enough. High quality resolution, high resolution pictures and high resolution everything. And we can watch movies whole night. We want, free Netflix, free Prime Video, free everything, as much possible that we can possibly get through whatever means we want that, right? And all the possible apps that we can think of and all that. Now, we don't understand that we already have all of it in the mind. See, imagine how many channels on your TV you want. You want hundreds of channels, right? The more the channels, the better. You don't even see half of the channels, but you want something where you can see any number of channels. And they will tell you also this many channels and all. You can have HBOs and news channel and 5 news channels and 10 sports channels and this, so many channels and this. And we love that. We love the more that is, not whether we see it or not, the more we have. Now imagine each one of us has this whole thing with us. We have this whole package. We get 24/7 live stream of all the possible channels that you can imagine in your mind. Tragedy movies are there or not? Inside the mind, please tell me. How many of you have been watching so many tragedy movies? In your mind, huh? The mind has created so many things. Comedy, News channels are there. Chat apps are there. WhatsApp and all is not outside. How many chattings we do right now also, even as I'm talking, you're chatting inside your mind. I don't know with whom you are chatting. Maybe with yourself or with someone else. But inside the mind, you're still doing all of that. You are your best follower, Twitter follower. You don't need anyone else. You are following yourself very well. And so many times we keep on doing like to our own self. Oh my God. When do we ever say dislike towards ourselves? Never. Only like how nice. We have the best follower in the world who never says dislike to any nonsense we do. Don't we like everything we do? Sometimes once in a while, one dislike we will give to ourselves. The rest of the time it's always what? Thumbs up, like, wonderful. Oh, nothing like me. I am the greatest. Oh, how wonderful I am. Everyone else dislike, but I like at all time. How much we are following ourselves in everything that we're doing. Not only that, we have the mind is inexhaustive. Data never gets over. Think of it. We can live stream, and the best part of it is free of cost. What have you paid? Please tell me. No paisa at all. 24/7, from the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep. And not only when you sleep, even in your sleep, you have dreams. There are also again thoughts, the whole world you create in the day. So you create your virtual, they have so many apps where you can create your own movie, you can create your own videos. You and I are doing it every night without paisa. What app? Nothing. We've got an app inbuilt in us, which allows us to create dreams. We've created all the stars and the sun and the sky and the rainbows and the rainfall and you name it. We have created it with an app which is inbuilt. We were sent with it. We were born with it and we've done it. How beautiful. And the best part, as I said, is inexhaustible. It is not that, okay, now today morning I got, next day morning again there's thoughts. And all the possible, you can connect to anyone, you can connect to anything inside, outside, whatever. And interesting thing is, there is complete and total privacy. Isn't it true? We always are scared, we don't want others to see what we are seeing. Because we'll say, I am seeing this thing and and so all of us want privacy for what we are saying. We don't want others to know what we are seeing. And here we have a channel where we have total privacy. We have our instrument, we have total, no one can see our mind. Wow. And I always say, this is the best thing that Bhagavan has done, that no one can see our mind. Because if we could see each other's mind, no two people will ever have any relation with anyone. But we can't see. Total privacy. And the interesting thing is but however, every experience of ours is stored in some part of this. And so nice, like you have an Instagram where after 24 hours, the image gets wiped out. So many of our experiences, thank God, get wiped out. Wonderful. If they did not, we would be in problem. Isn't it true? So many of our experiences, what you ate 1 week back, we don't remember. Why? It's got wiped out. Thank God. We don't need all that trash. In our own phones, the amount of things which you have not deleted, which you should be deleting. Every one of you. From so many of your, chat groups and so many things which actually are worth deleting. You have no time to delete anything. So you archive everything or you just put it somewhere where you don't have to see it. But it's all there. Whether you've seen it or not, it is still there somewhere or the other. You can actually trace it back. Don't you think? Everything that is, they say, everything on the net never dies. It's always there. Somehow or the other, there are hackers and there are people who know how to go through your history. Initially, you can hide your history. But if there is someone who can actually probe and go into past and say, oh, in this year, 5 years back, so-and-so had done this, it is possible to do that. Similarly, in our mind also, in our conscious mind, we may not have certain things, but it is possible to probe your subconscious mind. Hypnotherapy and so many things like that they do now. Past life regression. You can not only go through the present life experiences, but this mind is such a powerful instrument that you can even go into your past life and experience all the things that you have gone through that life. Can you imagine this mind? Why I keep talking about it is because most of us have never thought about our mind much, and we have this thing. This is with us. Each one of us has it. And understanding of right and wrong, good and bad, joys and sorrows, everything is happening in the mind. If this mind is not fine, it is our greatest enemy, the source of the highest sorrow. It can torture us. It can break us. It can completely trash us. It can be the most horrible thing in the world, or it could be the greatest boon of our life. And therefore, it is so important. See, when you have something which is working at such a fast rate, and interestingly, what is going to manage the mind? Now, this is another interesting. Who will manage the mind? It's not something outside that can manage our mind. No. It's not possible. Our own mind has to manage our own mind. This is interesting. Huh? Our own thoughts have to manage our own thoughts. And that is why each one of us, by the grace of God, have been equipped with thoughts. See, the mind is the same. Mind is nothing but flow of thoughts. But the same mind can be categorized as buddhi and manaha. Mana is the one that perceives everything, sees, hears, this, that. Buddhi is the one that understands. Mana is the one that has emotions of anger or jealousy or kindness and all that. Buddhi is the one that analyzes, that judges, that decides, that chooses. Mana is the one that puts all the choices in front of us. This or this or this or this or this or this. But the buddhi is the one who decides. Yes, this, not this. Good, not good. Wanting, not wanted, etc. So our own mind has this fantastic ability. Remember, this is the one that helps us to manage our life, manage the mind. Okay, so we have it in us. And this is helped by what we called as smriti, chitta. So we have these memories, these past experiences which become help to the intellect. Without these past experiences, the intellect is not able to decide this is right, this is wrong, because it has some sort of a samskara, purva experiences. So you need data not to analyze. Without data, you can't analyze. So you have data, you have experiences as data. Okay, this is what happened, this is what happened, this was good, this was not so good, so I think we should choose this, we should not choose this will be good for me, this is not good for me, so etc, etc. This is done by what is called the intellect. So within us we have this instrument which will help us to manage our mind. Okay, so it's not that it's something outside. See, outside can be of a very, very limited use. Okay, remember that. But it is that which is inside us which is actually going to be able to help us to manage. Now, the greatest thing that we have as human beings, and this is just the most unbelievable thing that we have, is we have a choice. And we have the ability to choose and decide about our choices. Not everyone has choices. Huh? Remember, to have a choice is a privilege. And this choice is given to us even by society as we grow older. For example, when you are in KG class, you have no choice of subjects. Thank God. At that point of time, who's going to decide? Like, on what basis will you decide? A lot of times, parents, not understanding these simple, ordinary things, say, they give the 2-year-old choice and say, okay, you want to do this or you want to do this. Will you eat this or will you want this? Now, on what basis is this 2-year-old going to make a decision? What great intellectual ability does this 2-year-old have to decide about the course of his life? Do you say, okay, your future, you can decide now at 2. Come on, now you decide your own future. No, you don't. Why? Because at that point of time, they don't have that intellect, don't have the ability. But as you grow older and the intellect starts maturing, that's when you are given more and more choices, even by the world, and then you have the ability to choose. But if your mind, right from childhood, has only been trained to do whatever comes to its mind, then that mind becomes very unmanageable. Do you understand? It is called in our languages manmani. If the mind has been used to doing manmani, jo man mein aaya karo. Mind said eat, mind said, but the buddhi says stop, you say shut up. You know, the buddhi says don't eat this, you say shut up. So from childhood, if we have never had this sort of a training given to control the mind or manage the mind through our intellect, then what happens? The mind does anything it wants. It becomes unmanageable. Why? Because we are doing whatever the mind says. Anything that comes to it, it says. Now, luckily for all of us, and every one of us, zero exception, it doesn't, see what the beautiful part of Vedanta and our Indian scriptures and all of that is, that every word that I have spoken till now is universal. It doesn't matter whether you're an American, a believer, a non-believer, a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, it doesn't matter. Everything that I have said is actually applicable to every human being, wherever you are, rich, poor, educated, uneducated, it just doesn't matter. It is universal, full stop, undeniable, full stop. No one can say, no, I don't, you cannot. Because everything that is said over here is your self-experience right within you. You don't need someone else from outside. Actually, these are all discoveries you could have made yourself with your own mind. You didn't even need 10 others. You don't need a scripture. You don't need anyone. It's all inside you. What the scriptures only tell us is how to go inside us and see all this for what it is. It just helps you to analyze. It just gives you data which is already inside you and says, see this, see this, see this. And you can see it for yourself. So what we find is that each one of us, with zero exception, has been endowed with what we call the conscience, the voice within. Actually, I would rather just call it the intellect, the buddhi. We can call it the higher voice, the inner voice, all these nice fancy names. But let's not mystify anything. Otherwise, someone will say, oh, someone is overpowering our mind. No. It's our own intellect, our buddhi. Everyone's buddhi is what we call satya pakshapati. It always tells you what's right and wrong. And I was just watching, in fact, just yesterday, I was watching on the YouTube a video where they wanted to know whether right and wrong, and this is in the mind, this is good and this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. Is it inherent or do we learn it from outside? Is it because it's taught by our parents, or it is there inside us? We are born with it. So they actually did this experiment with 3-month-old who what are they taught? Nothing. 2-month-old, 3 months. They're still on their backs. They're crawling. 4 or 5 months old. And they found whenever they had dolls. When a doll was helping another person, and then there was another doll which was not helping someone else, and they were asked to choose from these 2 dolls, both very cute looking, very nice. The only difference was one little color in the difference in the color. So they understood the difference in the color, and they were asked to choose which of the dolls you wanted. All of them chose the one which was helpful to others. So they understand this is called good. This is 3 months old and 4 months old. You haven't been taught anything till that time, what is good, what is bad. So we are inherently born with good and bad, is what I'm trying to say. Not only that, we are born with this wonderful thing, but we are also born with prejudices. So they found that the same little group of children, which there's no education, nothing for them, no ABC, nothing, they don't know how to talk, nothing. At that point of time also, they always preferred people who were of their type. So supposing I was an Indian, I will choose an Indian looking or my looking. And the other thing, I will take it, I will reject it. To that extent it is there. So prejudices, mine and yours, not mine, not your. This is also we are born with. Can you imagine that? So where have we come from? We in India will say past life. Okay, fine, perfect. Inherent tendencies, past life. So this is all there in the mind. And we learn more and more of it as we keep growing. And then this faculty of ours, this inner faculty, this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad, this I like, I don't like, all this keeps on building, and we come to a stage at this point in your life, most of us, we don't even look at a thing as it is. We have lost that ability completely. When we look at something, we always look with a lot of colorings which are there inside our mind pre-existing. Is it a fact or not? The fact that was Swamini Vimalananda was giving a talk. What happened? So many of them were put off and they said, we are not going to come online. As Swami. Who cares for Swamis? What do they know? They only keep preaching. So the very fact that you had a Swamini, the name Swamini Vimalananda, before even listening to me, before even coming on this, they rejected me. Based on what? On their own samskars. Nothing wrong. That's their samskars. That's the way of thinking. That's the way their mind has been prejudiced, has been colored. Whereas someone who's had great experiences with Swamis before and all that, the minute they say, oh, it's Swamini Vimalananda, oh, Swami, I'm going to listen. Now, even when I came online, I'm telling you, within the first 30 seconds of my appearance online, believe me, we have already, you don't see me. You see your mind projected as me. In the sense, you've already decided, this is okay, this is not okay. Whatever it is, good, bad, ugly, it doesn't matter. Your mind has already told you so many more things than what, before I even spoke the first word. Just by looking at me, your mind said so many things. So we really don't look at the world. We only look at the world as our mind wants to show it. We are actually never seeing the world. We only see it as it is shown to us. And this mind has been conditioned. Past life, okay, don't even talk of that. Even in this life, where you are educated, what your family, your environmental, your religious, this, and political and social, and so many different factors are putting what? Layers of coloring. And very interesting, we all say, nah, I am not at all influenced by anything. My dear, you are influenced by 100 things. And one of the things I want to introduce at this point of time, which is very, very important, is something called the individual mind and the total mind. See, most of, especially youngsters, you have students, so many students are there and all that. So we always feel, even I as a student felt exactly the same thing. I don't get influenced. I've got an open mind. I don't get influenced by others and all that. I don't believe in this and all that, brainwashing and all of that. My God, as youngsters, we are less open than anyone else sometimes. As I said, the minute you say Swamini means you've shut yourself. You haven't even opened. If you were really open-minded, you would say, okay, let me try out. Let me see. Let me find out. No, most of us don't. Most of us don't. That doesn't mean it's an open mind. And the influence of the totality is so strong on our mind. I'm telling you, that's what it's called. We call it total mind. When you call it the total in the largest sense of the word, the total mind is called God. But anyway, don't think of the word God right now. Don't worry about God at all. I'm just talking with the total mind in terms of how influenced you and I are in our smallest of smallest things by what we call the total mind. For example, what you call fashion, what you call good, what you call beautiful. There was a time when I was in college where a certain type of dress used to be cool and beautiful. Why Hema Malini wore it? My time was Hema Malini time. So Hema Malini wore this or this one, this model wore it, and I thought it was cool and great, and I did everything that they did because I thought it was cool. In this present day, you do whatever the so-called heroes or the fashion models or the page three, celebrities or all that, they do. You say that is what is cool. Even the hairstyles. There was a time when I was wondering why everyone had a particular type of goatee, like a beard and all that. And then I had no idea. And every second, third person I used to see about a few years back, 5, 6 years back and all. I was wondering why everyone has this type of all young people used to have. Then I was told there was someone called Ranveer Singh who had that. And we say, I'm not influenced. What are you talking, not influenced? The way you dress, the way you hair, you make up, everything, boys, girls, it doesn't matter what you are. You're all we are influenced by the total mind, completely by the total mind. And we don't even know, we don't even realize it's so subconscious. Now, if I am going to manage what I call my mind, don't you think I should understand all these factors that influence us? How I want to get influenced, what I choose to get influenced by, to what aspect of my mind I listen and to what aspect I don't listen. Which are the thoughts which make me a better person? Which are the thoughts that bring me down? Which are the thoughts that instigate me? Which are the thoughts that motivate me? Which are the type of thoughts that inspire me? Which are the type of thoughts that support me in what I want to be in life? Which are the thoughts which are claustrophobic? They bind me. Which are the thoughts which are compulsive, which I'm not able to come out of? Which are the thoughts that torture me? Which are the thoughts that help me in the greatest tragedies of my life, help me navigate, help me? What are the thoughts that make me hold on to something, even when I am getting carried away by the storm of life? Which are the type of thoughts which give me peace and quietude? Which are the thoughts that make me truly happy? Which are the type of thoughts which will make me into what I want to be one day? A great person. Everyone wants to be great. And what are the type of thoughts which is obstructing me from doing what I really want to do, have to do, wish to do? Don't you think all of us must learn about it, understand it? Think, which is the mind which is happy? Remember, all your experiences are in your mind. Forget about anyone else, forget about blaming anyone else. Most of us blame everyone. So-and-so make me unhappy. So-and-so, because of so-and-so, I got angry. So-and-so, this, I can't stand this one. I can't, forget all that. All that is happening inside your mind. Okay. First of all, we have to understand that. So this is what gives you sorrow, this. What gives you joy, this. It's your mind that gives you joy, it's your mind that gives you sorrow, full stop. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. Bandha and moksha, liberating is also your own thoughts that can liberate you, or your own thoughts bind you, your own thoughts give you sorrow, your own thoughts give you unhappiness, whatever it is, it's all there. Inside you only is. So let's now deal with it. So when are you happy? Ask yourself this question. When are you truly happy? So you find that a mind which is quiet, relatively quiet, is a happy mind. You have to experience yourself. I don't have to tell you. I mean, I don't have some, it's not your own experience. A mind which is relatively quiet is a happy mind. A mind which is poised. Strong emotions really trouble the mind. That's a fact. If you are anger, the mind is completely off. Even when it's a mild irritation also, it's not very happy. When you're just irritated and, something like that is happening inside you, you're not. A restless mind is not a happy mind. It's a fact. Try your own experience. Restless mind. A mind which is wandering too much, going you're there, not to this, is not a happy mind. It is so interesting. Most of us, whenever classes are all are there, you see, this is very interesting. I have found very rarely People don't want to come online, to show their face. They don't want to make their video on. Have you seen most people? They don't want to. Why they don't want to make their video on? Because they are not listening properly. They are not. They're all the time looking here, they're looking there, they're doing something, they're trying to this. All of a sudden, they want to multitask at the time of listening. How is it possible? The mind which is here, there, everywhere. How on earth? And remember, this is not just the students, even the teachers. I'm telling you, I rarely do people actually listen. Listening is a quality which is this. So when your mind is focused, is when it is happy. Think of it. When I'm painting and my mind is completely involved and I forget time and I'm happy. When I come out of it, I said, my God, 1 hour went and I'm so happy. Why? It is focused. It is concentrated. So a concentrated mind is happy. A restless mind is not happy. Lesser the number of thoughts, you're happy. More the number of thoughts, you're not happy. Strong emotional thoughts, you're not happy. Equipoised mind, which is neither going up or down, it's not depressed or it's not in this, is a happy mind. It's a cheerful mind. A creative mind is very happy. When creative thoughts are coming in your mind, it gives you a kick like nobody's business. When you're innovating, you're creating, you're involved with anything, any creative thought, doesn't matter what the creative thought is, you're very happy. Whenever there are noble thoughts in your mind, you're very happy. Notice that. When you want to help someone, there's love for someone, there's compassion in your heart, there's faith in your heart, all these thoughts are there, you're happy. You don't have to go outside, look inside yourself. I'm not talking about, please don't worry about anything. I'm not talking about any religion, I really don't want to talk about anything like that. You look inside yourself only. So whenever there's compassion, there's love, there's kindness, there's faith, it doesn't matter what it is. You have these type of thoughts, the mind becomes calm, quiet, and you're actually happy. And when the mind has no thoughts, now some people, when the mind becomes too restless, they don't know what to do with it. So they don't know how to manage it. They just want to make it quiet. They want to make it quiet somehow or the other. So one of the ways they use is by drinking. So mind does become quiet. You drink and it becomes dull. So all the things that it's telling you, all the things that are troubling you, so to speak, suspect. My mind is suspected. The buddhi is suspected for some time. The buddhi is not telling you are so such a stupid fellow. You are so this, you are this. So all these things are not coming at that time. You just sort of dullen the mind. So a lot of time people binge a lot. Why? When you are binging, you are looking at something else. So your own inner thoughts are not coming out. So you're watching something, you're watching something, you're watching something. And so what happens, the mind keeps getting entertained all the time. And then your mind, so to speak, becomes quiet. Because it's being entertained, the inner thing is not coming out. But the minute you switch that off, all that's inside comes out. Then again, you feel very restless. Yeah, what to do? Immediately you go and again start watching something. So you'll binge on something else. So then you, for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, time just goes away because you can binge for endless times. So 6 hours goes, 7 hours goes, one whole night goes also. You keep binging, and you become so dull, so tired that you just fall asleep. So when you fall asleep, then what happens? Mind is always quiet. Then you wake up, what happens? Again, you see first thing in the morning, the mind really troubles you. Because you've binged, you've done all the things you should not do. So mind, no. So first few hours of the day will be very nice. You'll be behaving in a perfect way. You'll behave like a good person. Right? So that after some time, again, the mind becomes restless. The inner things start talking. The mind starts telling you, you are such a stupid fellow. You wasted time. You did this. You did not. You should have done this. You should not have done. So you want to make that mind quiet again. Because it's telling you so many things you don't want to hear. So you say, shut up. So how to shut up? You don't know how to do it yourself. There are ways of doing it. You can make the mind quiet, but you don't know how to do this. You haven't learned any mind management techniques. So what do we do? Again, binge. Watch this and then keep on watching. So again, make the mind tired. Once the mind is tired, go to sleep. Please tell me, in this stage of pandemic, how many of us are doing that? Exactly. So we remain in like it's exactly like a drug addict. So some of them make their mind dull through drugs, some through drinks, some through eating, some through binging, some through... These are all ways in which we are trying to do mind management. And we are not managing that mind. The interesting part is that. We all our techniques, so-called our own adopted techniques of mind management, asking the mind to shut up, shut up, shut up, make it quiet, make it quiet, make it quiet. And what are we doing in the process? Becoming complete, total, absolute slaves of our own mind in the process. Okay, so what do we do? Now we have understood what mind is: a managed mind. Calm, quiet, happy, peaceful, this, that. So what? And we see our own ways of mind management. Many times it doesn't work. So what do you realize? That one thing that helps is a disciplined mind, is a happy mind. So directly disciplining the mind is very difficult. It is not going to, the mind is not going to listen to you. It's used to doing its own thing for a long, long time, so it's not going to listen to you. So you have a disciplined lifestyle. That helps the disciplining of the mind. So you wake up at a particular time, you do your morning routine this way, so you do your exercises, you do your this, whatever. You have a healthy routine. It doesn't have to be minute to minute, like like someone sitting with a rod and saying, this minute do this, this. No. It is more or less a healthy lifestyle, helps to make the mind disciplined. So through actions, we have to control the mind. Okay, to manage the mind, not control the mind. Remember, you can't control the mind. You have to manage the mind. There's a difference between them. So one of the things is you have a decent, healthy this. Yeah. Then we must not do things which are contrary to the health of the mind. For example, if I have diabetes, what am I supposed to do? I'm not supposed to eat sweets, full stop. That's the first rule. Taking insulin is a second thing, but before taking insulin, first is not eating sweets. So what we want to do is we want to take the insulin and we want to eat the sweets. This is a typical thing. So similarly for the mind also, what we want to do is we want to manage our mind. At the same time, we want to eat all the things which are contradictory to it. That's not going to work. And we have tried it. You can keep trying it and you will keep trying it. Forget that. Doing all the contrary things. And just because I say, it's not that you're going to stop it. You're definitely not going to stop it. It's only when you tell your mind you will stop it. And that also after a long, long time. Remember that. So therefore, who listens to doctors? Only when they say you're going to get a heart attack, or we actually get a heart attack, they'll say, doctor, okay. So many of us are waiting for a crash. Mental breakdown, a nervous breakdown, a depression, then the psychologist has to come and says, no, have positive thoughts, a good type of a thing. And then we wait for that. Where someone else from outside will come and compulsorily sit on our head and say, okay, you have to do this, you can't do this. It's like children. On their own, they won't do anything. The mother comes and says, someone sit down and study, come on, sit down. So we also wait for these type of things. When someone else from outside will tell, some friend will say, don't worry. Otherwise, we love to worry. Then someone else has to come and say, don't worry. And they say, okay. And then they say, oh, you helped me so much. Arey, what so much? Your own mind had to tell you that. So therefore, anything which is not conducive to the health of the mind, just as not that which is not conducive to the health of the body, that which is not conducive to the health of the mind, don't eat that. Don't take that. Don't. But as we know, fast food is always good. So one of the things I would really tell you is, nowadays, look at the way our mind is entertained. See, we like to keep our mind entertained. That's a fact. So we entertain our mind at a very fast rate. See, we are becoming so impatient because everything, all this net and everything is fast. Huh? It's like this. Our mind also goes at a very fast rate. So we want that this also everything at a very, very fast rate. In the good old days, there used to be what is called art movies. I don't know whether they are there nowadays or not, because I haven't watched those type of movies now. There are art, so they'll be slow. They'll show the face of a person for a long time, and there's just emotion will be there and all. Now, who wants those type of movies? You want Mission Impossible movies? Cut, doom, dumb, shoom, dumb, falling here, there. That's the way we want some hero here, there. Who wants a slow, this, nothing. So we want everything to go fast, 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 fast. All our entertainment at the fast level. Even the teacher also is talking something. No, it should be what? Shum, shum, tishum, 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 some input, something like that. Otherwise, boring, boring. Immediately the mind goes on, because we are entertainment is such a fast rate, so everything becomes boring, boring, boring. In the minute that fast rate is not there, entertainment is not there, immediately we say boring. So one of the ways to slow the mind, because the mind which is peaceful alone is happy. That is a fact. A mind which is not a happy mind, that is, everyone knows it. So therefore, what we need to do is, one of the ways to slow the mind is to be with nature. Nature's ways are slow. Who wants to watch a sunrise now? Because in the movie the sun comes, goes. You understand? But when you actually sit with the sunrise, it is one beautiful experience. Because you're not just watching the sun, you're watching the birds around, you're watching the sky, you're watching peaceful. Even I'm telling you, I've seen people, they run, in the morning, early morning, they run. They're running with the mind, and the mind is going much faster than their body is going. And it's so beautiful. There are clouds, there is the birds, there's nature. No one's looking there. Everyone's in their mind or listening to something with their this and they're running also. So come on, this is the most beautiful time of the day. You are running, you are being with this. So please, at least watch, smile, look, absorb. And if we can do that, spend at least some time in nature doing nothing. No instrument. It's your sacrosanct time. Be with nature, because if you're not with nature, if you're in your home, kata, 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 you'll do again. And please don't, that mobile should be off, or it should not be there. Because if it is there also, you'll have the urge. And unfortunately, people have this ping, ping, ping happening. I don't know, why are you all doing this? For God alone knows. And that ping happens, I don't know what is that. Whether it's Instagram, or it is message, or it is email, or this, or 100 things will be pinging together, right? So we want to know who called you. Yeah, no one's really interested in you. They called someone else. You are only part of the group. That's why you are a part of it. So anyway, so you feel all the time, we feel wanted by someone. Just take that off. You're not with anything. You're with nature. Just watching a bird. And it is flying. You're watching a flower. That is just there. You're watching the different green colors in nature. They're different greens. You're just seeing, oh, what a lovely green. Oh, this green. Okay, this. It doesn't matter what your mind is thinking. You don't worry about that. Mind will automatically keep giving all the past thing also, but still watching. Continue to watch and be with nature. You will find automatically your mind becoming calm. Sit in the riverside. Watch the river flow. Sit on this ocean side. If you are on any of these places, and if you can, if not anything, just open your window and look at the sky. But there's nothing. That's exactly what I want you to see. Nothing. They're so used to seeing something. So what's nothing? But there's only sky. Exactly. So just imagine this blue thing is there, and there's nothing. There's nothing to watch. There's nothing. Then you will start seeing your mind talking so much. Automatically the minute you see your mind, the thoughts of the mind reduce. So one of the ways to reduce your thoughts of the mind is to just watch your mind. So the child who's making too much of mischief, what do you say? You just watch the child automatically calms down. Similarly, if you watch your mind, I'm telling you, even for a few seconds, if you watch your mind calms down. It's not that all the thoughts go away, but immediately the number of thoughts reduce. The minute the number of thoughts reduce, you are in command. The thoughts are not in command. You are now in command. Once you are in command, you do what you want. I'm just giving you a few things. This is an endless topic. It requires a lot of patience, a lot of understanding, a lot of insights. And the best part of it is, it's with you. It's not somewhere else. You have a mind. It's your mind. You know it better than anyone else in the world. And therefore, you can manage it. And you have 24 hours every day of your life to do it. And you can become a happy person, because it's in your mind. Happiness lies in your mind, not outside of you. Thank you very much. Hari Om and Namaskar. If you want to ask questions, you can do so.
Madam, please go ahead with the questions, whatever we have in chat box.
Yes, sir.
Question answer session also they have asked
Yes,
questions.
ma'am, it was a so interactive session. Actually, I enjoyed a lot with your pleasing presentations actually. And we have some questions from the audience also.
Yes,
So the
please.
first question has been asked by S.R. Joshi. He has asked about how and why we see dreams in night, which we don't remember the next day. This is the question.
What we see today, we don't remember the next day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because there's this fantastic ability we have of forgetting. And believe me, it's a good ability. Many times it's not so good. We must remember what we should remember. We should forget what we should forget, actually. So that's why the Gita says, Matta Smritir Jnanam Apohanam cha. I have this ability of what? Smriti means what we can remember. Jnanam, understanding what to remember, what to forget. And Apohanam means forgetting. So it's an ability which is good also. We don't need to remember everything. It's not necessary. It's like in your own, computer. There are some things which you just delete, it's all nonsense. So you don't even worry about it. The minute you get this, you delete it. It's not necessary. It is there in the delete box, but you don't need it. You just delete it.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question is from Rajendran. He has asked how to overcome our problems, even though we are trying to calm ourselves.
The first of all, understanding is that outside world only gives us situations. The mind stamps it as a problem. This is the first understanding of a problem. Outside, there are only situations, difficult situations, whatever you want to name them, but they're all situations. The mind calls it a problem. The first thing is inside, we have to change that and stop calling it a problem, call it a situation and say, this is a different situation. That's why we use the word now issues. Now there are issues. This is an issue. We don't say, hey, instead of calling it a problem, call it an issue, first of all. It's a situation. Now here it is a situation. Okay, now what are the things involved in the situation? Oh, this is what I can do, this. And then after having understood that is a situation, then what are the factors required? Then use your intellect to understand, analyze, etc. Use your mind to understand that this will be involved, understand the consequence of what you're going to do. If this, and then after that, do it. And then don't worry. The consequences are going to come whether you do it this way or this way. Doesn't matter actually. Whatever you do it, after having analyzed and understanding and doing, then face whatever comes back. Maybe I took a wrong decision. Oh, good learning. Such a thing is there. Next time I won't do this. Full stop. So therefore, the step one is stop calling it a problem. Call it a situation. Step two, deal with it. Face it. Don't run away from it. It's not going to help. It'll come back sooner or later. So might as well face it and finish it.
Yes, ma'am. Very nice. The next question is from Vikram Silva Ganesh. He has asked that what kind of connection is there between the mind and the soul?
And what? Mind and?
Mind and soul, madam.
Soul. Acha. Okay. Now I don't like this word soul because it has different meaning for everyone. And I really have no idea what the meaning of the soul is for you. So therefore, I will call it in the language that I understand, and probably what the person is also saying is, we call it the jiva, the jivatma, the I. You can say I. The deep within us, there's this I. So what is the connection between the mind and this? Yes. So this jivatma, this individuality, this what he calls the soul, is the one that owns the mind, owns the thoughts of the mind. So that's why I say I see, I know, I hear, I understand. So it is this jivatma, this soul, which is saying, which is owning all the thoughts and ascribes all these thoughts to themselves. And then says, this is my experience. So whose experience? It is the experience we attributed then to the soul. So is, or the atma, the jivatma. The jivatma says, it is my experience. This, my this. So the one that owns all these and also disowns each of the thought as it comes is called the jivatma, the soul. And the thoughts are the one that it owns and disowns.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question is from Subham Padi. He is asked if the thought of good and bad are inherited, then why people go to jail and how to control mind?
Right, right. So we have this understanding of good and bad. Some of it is, from we already have it inherent in us. But we, even as we go along in life, we understand what is good and bad. And the fact that if you do bad, there's a punishment that you understand right from your childhood. So therefore, if you do bad, by God, you will go to jail. What else can happen? There is a punishment involved. So what punishment? So the laws of the country have decided that if you murder someone, you please go to jail. We don't want you in society because you might murder someone else, and then you'll think it'll be fine. No, it's not fine. You know yourself it's not fine. The world knows it's not fine. At least the country knows it's not fine. If you don't know, you now go to the jail and find out it's not fine. If you didn't know before that, you find out now that it's not fine. You know. So, like a child does something wrong, the mother scolds it. Then it understands, oh, this is wrong. This is not right. Why? I'll get scolded if I do this. Similarly, the person has to go to the jail. It understands, hey, this is not acceptable, my dear. I should not have done that. If you didn't know beforehand, you will know when you are in the jail that it was wrong.
The next question is, ma'am, from Asha Mehta. She has asked, when you have expectations, when expectations are not met, we get agitated. So how can we stop this expectation and calm our mind? How to disentangle yourself from this?
Actually, the person who is asked has already given an answer. You say expectations are the ones that cause us problems, right?
Yes.
So you yourself have given the answer. So please don't have expectations. The fact is that we are not able to fulfill our own expectations. Forget that. So we know that if we are this, it creates this point. And till now, we have understood that no one in the world has ever fulfilled all our expectations because, first of all, our own expectations are unreasonable. I'll give you an example. We want something to give us happiness all the time. How is it possible? It's a completely unreasonable expectation. Completely unreasonable. How is it possible that a finite object can give us infinite and continuous and eternal happiness? How is it possible? It's unreasonable. Now, these unreasonable expectations we have, what will happen? 100% what? Disappointment and what? Sorrow. So the answer is given by us. We know all the answers. That's interesting. Okay.
The next question is, ma'am, how can I keep balance myself with family and work?
Oh, nowadays things have become much easy for you because you're working from home. So you have something right here. In fact, now the problem is how to keep that distance between the work and the family. Because in the middle of the work, the family keeps coming in between all the time. And then you are trying to do something and the child comes all of a sudden inside. And the wife keeps coming or the husband is there and all that. So now that is becoming more a problem. First, it was much easy. You go to the office or you go to college, you go somewhere else. Life, family is at home, you are there. And then you leave all of that, go back home. The family is here. Now everything is right there only. Now that is a bigger problem, in fact, I think, in some cases, of course. So therefore, we have to compartment life. Yeah. So that is a fact. See, as we give up one thought, we take on another thought. Similarly, we have to, even in terms of relationships or anything. For example, when I'm in front of my father, I am a daughter, and then this is my father. So this is the way I interact with them, right? So the minute I go to someone else, and this is a friend. So what do? I don't act daughterly in front of my friend. I act friendly in front of my friends, right? So it's a different. So a minute, what am I doing? I'm taking off. So this is exactly the thing of work and personal. So what are you doing? That part of the thing, you say, okay, this is there. This is work, right? So you compartmentalize this way, and it's the most sensible thing. We are doing it all the time anyway, and we're doing it pretty well, right? In front of a husband we are, or a wife we are different. A spouse is different. So we don't have the same relation with the spouse as with the children. The minute next second you are with your children, immediately your relation changes. You don't have to think now I have to now change, now my channel has to, you do it in an instant, right? You don't even have to think that. Similarly, this work, personal, business, social, all these things can happen. It is possible for us to.
Is
The understanding of it is.
Yes. It's from our colleague only. One of our colleagues asked, how can I stop thoughts of overthinking? sometimes it's automatically.
Overthinking is a big problem. Overthinking is a big time problem. You know,
He's saying that it is not allowing me to sleep. What is the implying?
yes, overthinking. And that's why we have to dull our mind with so many other ways, you know, overthinking. The thinking, it is not overthinking. It is unconscious thinking which is causing problems, right? It's not overthinking. The thoughts are coming unconsciously. They are not conscious thoughts. Conscious thoughts now can be very systematic and this. So you take a topic and you start thinking about that topic. That is called conscious thinking. So conscious thinking is always in our control. But the other things is like they just keep coming. They are just, it is not you are thinking. See, it is not you are thinking. Thinking is happening. That thinking which is happening is the one that is uncontrolled. When you start actually thinking, it's in our control. I am thinking. Full stop. I am controlled. But thinking is just happening. And that's why it doesn't allow me to sleep. It just goes on and on and on. So a good thing for that person would be do some physical exercise. Get physically tired. Drink a glass of hot milk. Go to sleep. And then as you go to sleep, try to read a book of Vedanta, high philosophy, which you don't understand much, but try to understand. You will sleep in 5 minutes time.
Ma'am, that's a very nice answer. The last question, ma'am, what is the difference in between the mind and the brain? Is it both or same or different, ma'am?
I think I did tell you the person did not come in the beginning of the talk. So maybe if they go back on the talk, they will definitely, or as their mind was inattentive at that point of time, either that, or they can just go back and they will understand what I am saying. It's very possible. And our sir, Raju sir, will be able to give you also. There is the Bhagavad Gita is one of the most beautiful books of everything that I have spoken right now is only from the Gita. The Bhagavad Gita. If I had said it's from the Gita, everyone would have switched off and gone off the line, but doesn't matter. So now I'm telling you, now it's all from the Bhagavad Gita, whatever I've spoken. And I have specially made a version of the Bhagavad Gita, which is very friendly and which is very trendy for young people. It's called Life Empowerment and Enrichment Program. So LEAP, L-E-E-P, LEAP is there. Dr. Raju will be able to tell you more about it also. And if you want to order online, Amazon, everything, it's possible. So you can do that. And it will really give you of how the mind management becomes much easier for us.
Surely, ma'am, surely we will do that. And we have been appreciating your more patience towards to the participants and all. And it's been all the truths that has been come out today, actually. You have been explaining in a very lucid manner, actually. So thank you for that, ma'am. And that's all from the questionnaire session, sir. So I can call upon our...
anyone wants to ask question personally also, they can ask now. Suppose Nagalakshmi madam, Saravanan, who are in the panel, if they want to ask questions, even other students and faculty also, if they want to ask question, please ask.
Another question has come up in the questionnaire session. Why can't we able to control mind sometime?
Sometime, all the time. Very rarely are we able to control our mind. It requires a lot of practice, as I said, and we have to be on top of it. And I've already talked about how we slow down our mind, how we can actually help, feed it with good things so it remains fine, and unhealthy things will make it more difficult to control. And these are all ways. There are many, many more ways. One of them is, you do, watch your breath. As you are sitting, just watch your breath. When the mind becomes very restless, just keep watching your breath. So that will help you to slow down the mind, because watching the mind is very difficult. So watching the breath, something which is grosser is much more easy. So sometimes you just watch your body also. That is also fine. Or watch, as I said, something which is still and peaceful. So the mind will see something which is still, the mind becomes still. The mind sees restless things, it becomes restless. So keep watching something which is still, which is, as I said, nature is a very good thing. Watch a bird, watch the sky, watch a tree, watch. So when you watch that, automatically the mind has a tendency to become slower and more, controlled. Yeah, that's possible.
So now
Arjuna, Arjuna also asked this question, that chanchalam hi mana pramati, it's like a storm, etc. And Bhagavan Krishna told him, abhyasena kaunteya vairagyena jagriyate. It is possible through abhyas, through practice, It's possible. And by developing a little detachment, meaning being away from the mind, being able to see the mind as a separate entity from us, we can do that. Then we'll know, oh, this is what happens to the mind, this is what happens. It's easy to understand. I mean, it's easy for me to understand you than to understand myself, right? That way. So if I separate myself from my mind, I'll say, oh, this is my mind. Oh, I understand. Yeah.
At the end, we have learned some tricks to calm our mind, ma'am. It is all within ourselves. That is the best thing we have heard it from you, actually. Anyone is there to ask questions to the ma'am as an interactive session? If it is not so, we can close out the session. Is there anyone to ask any questions to ma'am?
There's a question. You said it is hard to have an open mind. How do you achieve it?
Yes.
Yeah, this is a question. It's hard to have an
Yes,
open
ma'am.
mind.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, first of all, we have to understand the prejudices of our own mind. We are so prejudiced. If we understand that our mind is prejudiced, that itself makes it an open mind. See, our mind is so colored, so prejudiced. We have so many notions, as I said, now we don't look at a person as a person. We look with so much of baggage, like someone who has had some bad experience with you. The next time you look at him, you look at that person. You don't look at that person. You're looking at that what has happened in the past only, and you're looking at that person. So naturally, and then we not only project it. Supposing someone has a bad experience, a girl has a bad experience with a boy, then she will say all men are bad. Full stop. Or a man has a bad experience with a woman, he'll say all women are like that. No, so these are all prejudices, and then we start feeding on them. And if I have a certain point of view, everything that I see in the world will only confirm what I already have in my mind. Then you'll find all the people, all see, you'll meet friends also the same type. We'll all say, oh, women are very bad, women are very bad, women are bad. So your thing becomes always, yes, women are bad. You understand? So our prejudice becomes strong, and then they become very hard. Then you're no more open-minded. You understand? So therefore, we have to, this is all these techniques that I have talked about will help you to overcome your prejudices. If you have to see them for what they are. When I understand my mind is prejudiced, then I understand, oh, automatically I say, oh, the mind is prejudiced. That itself will help to remove the prejudice of the mind. Knowing that the mind is prejudiced will help, and then it will make it open. Then I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to see. See what happens is now we are feeding so much on our own ego, on our own self. So whatever we think now, we become strong about it. We hold. That's why it's very difficult to change older people, because they have reinforced their thoughts so many more times. They have said this is the right, this is only good, this is only the, they have made it so strong, that inner this, that for them to leave that is almost impossible, because they have really reinforced their prejudice. I have seen so many elderly men and all that, they are like some misogynist, or so much male chauvinist, like men and women. You can't do anything to them at that point of time. You just say they'll die with these type of thoughts. What else can you do? And they're not going to get open. Youngsters have hopes more. So I like to talk with youngsters, because there's a hope for them to open up their mind if they so want. To be open, to be, and this, it is possible, much, much more easy and possible. So I always prefer to talk with young people, because the possibilities are endless for them. Elderly people have a lot of strong, they hold on a lot to whatever they are thinking in their ways and their this, and they are not willing to change. They are just not willing to change, because they have already understood that they think what they think is the best, they think is right. So it's very difficult. So open mind, understand the prejudices.
Sir, Ramakrishna sir, I think you raised your hand. You can ask question, madam. Ramakrishna sir. IVR sir.
No, అందరూ అడుగుతున్నారు. Okay, everyone is asking, so I thought that let madam clear their doubts. The younger lot need to benefit much more than our age group for two reasons, because they have a long life ahead, and we have an expert speaker, Swamini Vimalananda. So let her answer the younger lot. And regarding our doubt, I just posted one. I said that yes, no doubt, the mind is calm when we do good deeds. There's no doubt about it. But we cannot do good deeds, rather mind will not permit us to do the good deeds when mind is not calm. So they are interrelated, or you can say mutually dependent. So if you are having a good mood, somebody like my wife is going to temple, chalo ji, mandir ja raha hai, aa jaiye mandir. If I am not in a good mood, what my reply is known. I don't need to explicitly mention what would be my reply to my wife when she is at the doorway going to the temple. If my mind is not good for whatever the reasons may be, a bad day in the college or whatever it is or whatever. So they are mutually dependent. So now, which is like, it's something like a hen first or that egg first or chicken first. It goes like that. If you are in a good mood, are you going to do good deeds? If you do a good deeds, you will be in a, you will be able to maintain the mental balance, whatever you call it.
Okay,
Over,
but so the solution to this thing is very simple. Do the action whether you're in a mood or not. For example, get up in the morning even if your mind says don't get up. You say just I'm going to get up. No, but mind says no, don't get up. The routine, that's why doing your duties. For example, very clear thing. Even on the day, if you're a professor, your job is to give a talk, teach the students, to take a class. You are not in the mood, but you better get up and give your talk or you'll be out of a job. So you do that. Even if your mind is not fine, your mind will say, sleep it out today. Don't do this. But what do? You get up and you give your job. You do your job. So duties are the best way to help us to control our mind. That is why we have something called duties. Duties are fantastic. So even in spite of whatever the mind says, you do your duty. Once you do that, you're on the path towards breaking this circle.
yes, madam. Like, keep yourself occupied. Basically,
Not keep yourself occupied. No, not keep yourself occupied. Do your duties. Keeping yourself occupied is not a solution. Binge watching is also a way of occupying your mind. But that is not going to help you. So binge watching is not the solution. The solution is do your duties. Do as many noble activities. I always say a mind which keeps doing creative, meaningful, and noble activities is a happy mind. So it should be creative, because otherwise it gets bored. It should be meaningful to you. Even if it may be meaningful to someone else, it's not good. It has to have meaningful, and it should be noble. You keep doing these things, you're happy. So if you want to keep busy doing these things. Duties are a very good way of keeping yourself busy and also happy. That is one thing. So in spite of whether you like or you don't like, you have to do your duties. Simple. To do it. So you'll keep doing the good deeds even if your mind says don't do it.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. I think our time is up, and yes. I'm so happy that all of you were listening to this, and I'm sure by the grace of God and the Guru, all of you will be happy in your life, and my prayers for the well-being of everyone. Thank you. Namaskar. Hari Om.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Dr. Lily Madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
So I would like to take this privilege of giving this vote of thanks for all the participants who have been attended this great meeting. And I would like to start from our management for providing this opportunity to encourage us to create like this webinar. And also I would like to thank our beloved HOD for arranging this very nice webinar to have the mind management things. And I would like to thank my staffs and friends and my students and friends, everyone, for attending this seminar. And also I would like to extend my thanks to the system admin people and the office people who have been extended their supports in a timely way. Thank you one and all present over here, and thank for being your patience, and I would like to extend my thanks to everyone, all the participants who have been patiently listened over and make this session to be very interactive. Thank you once again, Swamini Vimalananda ma'am, for being with us for so much of time. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you, one and all. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
So can we close up the session, sir?
Yeah, please close.
Yes.